Hey there guys, it's Metro and we are back with another golf video. Summit Hills, back to my home course here, and this time we got something special. Now first of all, it's really cold out. It's like it's not even 60, it's 58 right now. 61 when I left the house. I always drops 3 degrees as I said, but we got some new toys here, so we're going to be taking a look at them. Okay, bought driver, hybrid, a 5-iron to test a different style of 5-iron, the Callaway Mavrik Max to see if that works for me better, and then I also bought a Sand Wedge finally. So we'll see what happens, but it's a cold, blustery day up here, so hopefully we'll get some good footage. Definitely gained not as much distance as I would have hoped with the driver, but I'll tell you, the hybrid and the other clubs are way better. We'll talk about this all at the end of the video because I want to focus on golf today, but a little disappointed with the driver purchase. It's so different, it's so much lighter, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, it's probably half the weight of my other driver, so I swing through the ball way quicker, and that doesn't necessarily help me. In fact, the ball flight is way higher too on it, but we have this into the green, so yeah, not really any different than I would have normally had on this hole with the old driver. Had 195 to the flag, hit it about 190-ish, and my old hybrid used to go about 175, 180. This is definitely a good place to be. We do have a new sandwich, but we're not going to use it because I don't feel like there's any reason to use a sand wedge for something like this. You know, like a 10-yard shot, just need to get it on the green and we putt. So a few things happened there that I'm immediately going to attribute to the club. First of all, it's all mental. Like, literally, if I was to do a review on clubs, I would say that I bought like a stimulus package for my brain, basically, like something that's going to just make me feel better about golf. Not necessarily something that's going to make me golf better, but it certainly works. And swinging these clubs is just so much nicer for me. I feel like so much more confident. But the main thing is that I had the right yardage. The drive wasn't great, but if I hit that same drive and then I had that second shot into the green, I would not have been able to get anywhere close to there. So then I would have had probably like 40 some yards into the green, and I didn't have the right club for that shot either. So just having, you know, more options and more clubs available is always something that I feel like was holding me back. Fair amount of money spent, so it's not for everybody, but to get peace of mind and slight improvement was really, I'd say so far so good. I want to make, you know, something very obvious to you if you didn't pay attention there. I just parred the first hole. Typically I'm used to getting a bogey, at least if not a double bogey on that first hole, because it's a longer par 4. A little nervous obviously too, that didn't, you know, come into play today, luckily. Mostly because the third shot or second shot will just be very tough for me, and that's something that I'm looking to solve here kind of in any way possible. So maybe this isn't the best way to solve it, other people have pointed that out, but I do think we saw immediate gains. I'm hitting everything off the heel of the club, which is the opposite of what my old driver used to do. So I'm having trouble getting used to that, and it's still causing me to slice, I think. I don't know if that's exactly why, but the thing is, it's more of a fade now. Slice was like 50 yards right, basically offline. This is like 20 yards right offline. So this is the furthest, I mean, among the furthest I've hit it. You know, usually we're over there, just kind of past this hill. The boxes were way up again today. I don't know if it's gonna be like that for everybody. The first hole was not like that though. But this one was. So there's my ball there. Get this post thing, I don't even know, but yeah, so it's sliced, you know, so I was aiming for over there. It landed over here. I mean, it's only, you know, maybe 20 yards off my line. So I just hit the new 6-iron. Well, it's new as of last week. I don't know if you paid attention to the round with my uncle, but I hit it extremely well. It's very forgiving. And then I tried, like I said, I bought so that was a regular Mavrik 6-iron. Then I bought the Mavrik Max 5-iron, which we'll talk about at the end. They're not that different, unfortunately. So two straight pars, best I've ever done up here. And even though it was because of 2 really good chips, I wouldn't typically be in that position to be able to hit it that close, like especially on the second hole. The driver, even though the box was up, the driver was longer with a little slice, and the 6-iron was like way easier to hit than normally I'd be hitting hybrid into that green. So it'd be splayed off, you know, 30-40 yards to the right or left. So all I had to do was basically touch it with the pitching wedge and it was gonna roll up near the hole. So far to me, it does feel like I'm able to make like easier shots happen with these new clubs. But unfortunately this next hole, the boxes are way in the back, quite windy as you can tell, and we have probably about 190 to the flag. So gonna have to hit hybrid here. Still don't hit the 5-iron as far as I should, but to be where I wanna be, it's gonna be hybrid. Hopefully I could hit it pure and we could be somewhat close to the pin. I want you to see something before we do anything more here. So I hit that hybrid. The wind, I don't know, maybe it didn't factor in as much as I thought it was going to. It said about 195 to the flag, and as you see, it's all the way back there. I'm not actually sure where it bounced because obviously it was a lower trajectory, so I don't think it left a ball mark. But yeah, all the way back there at the back. Here's the flag. I mean, that's a good 60-foot putt, maybe more, I don't know. Put this in perspective. The old hybrid, I would have struggled to make the green with. Like, it'd be probably just barely here, right? But that hybrid is all the way at the back. And I did not hit that well at all. It was well off the toe. The club gave me feedback, like if I didn't hit it well at all, and it's still over there. First swing with the Sand Wedge, like first full swing I've ever hit at an actual golf course. And the results are beautiful. Hit that even farther than I thought I was going to. I thought I'd be kind of up here more, but I hit it a lot further than I thought I was going to. Left it a bit left of where I was aiming. That was the first swing with that new 5-iron. I hit it very, I guess I hit it chunky. It didn't go very far, but it went exactly where I wanted it to. Okay, it's a bogey. We'll take the bogey there. Should have been a par. I don't know how I missed that putt, but whatever. That's good. That's perfect. We had our first kind of half shot with the wedge, about 30-40 yards. Exactly. It went perfect, honestly. The green was really wet though. I don't know, maybe that had something to do with it, but went up in the air and stopped. Before we move on, I do want to talk about what actually happened there. So I hit the 5-iron chunky. It was kind of behind the tree. Normally I would try to lay up to the left of the tree, but I'm like, oh, I'm hitting the ball so well, I might as well just try to carry the tree, see where we can go. So then I hit 8-iron, which is in a new club, and it got stuck up in the tree that I was talking about. Exactly like I expected. And it took probably about 20 yards off it. So that's why we were short of the green. I hit that one very poorly. Kind of like hit the ground first, I think, but ball's right there. And there's the flag, so we'll see. Oh, wow. Jesus. Man, I hit that one way right. Tree right there, all kinds of trees. I don't. Yeah, well, it's inevitable, I guess. I caught it way too clean. It's like way long. We did make a decent chip. I didn't go where I wanted it to, but I guess that's a double on the last hole. This time I'm going to hit hybrid here. I never used to do that, but now that I am hitting driver and it's, you know, it's going well, I think it's going to be too much. I think it's going to be easier for me if I just hit hybrid. Plus, you know, the wind, I'll have less likelihood of kind of losing the ball. Okay, so this is basically where I would have hit the old driver, honestly. You know, if I hit the driver perfect, I could have been, maybe even drove the green or something, but it's just not really worth it, because if I lose it right or left, which I have been doing today, this is definitely going to be a bad hole, especially after the last one. We're just looking to course correct. Might need a second wedge. That's 56 degree. Came up about a good 20 yards short, and that was hit well. I don't think I hit it poorly. Well, 3-putt. Not what I expected. So that was the new 5-iron. Hit it way off the toe. Super windy, as you can tell. It's only the second sand shot I've hit since I returned to golf after like a 10-year break, and I'd say it went pretty well. Another reason I never want to hit out of sand trap is because I didn't really have an appropriate wedge for it. The last time I did it was at Blue Ridge, and I did a pitching wedge out of a bunker. It ended up going good, but that's not ideal. It's like here right near the path, and super windy, man. I don't know how much that's playing in, but we got a long way to go. That was, again, terribly hit. I don't know, these side hill lies, they just give me fits, man. I can never hit the ball pure. I always hit the ground first. That time the ball was well above my feet. I guess I need to choke up on the club. I don't know. Somebody save me from these, please. Hit that one dead straight, but needed to hit it a lot farther, I guess. That was the new 5-iron. Should have been more than enough club, but again, striking the ground first takes a lot of distance off, I guess. Caught that chip very thin. Big difference, still went up in the air and stopped, actually rolled back a little bit. It's probably mostly because of the slope of the green. Pitching wood, if I hit it that thin, it would have been 50 yards past the hole. That is a double on that hole, which is actually pretty damn good considering what happened. And I've definitely made double there plenty of times and still had a good round. My first impression is that that has to be the best front nine I've played. I mean, we made 4 straight pars. I don't even want to try to add it up though. You want to do that, feel free. We're moving on. Terrible strike of the ball, hit the ground first. This hole has the potential to completely blow up my card, and I'm just not gonna let it. I'm gonna hit a wedge to the front and just take that water out of it. That was legit perfect. Obviously not what you want to be doing, laying up 3 times on a par 5, but I'll tell you what, water's here. Try to avoid this edge of it, and we managed to do it just right. It's actually bounced a little bit to the right too. I would have preferred if it didn't, but this is interesting. I've never hit from over here, and it does feel like it's a better place. I mean, this is actually was meant to be like a tee box here, although looks like, look at this. Somebody ran over one of them, I guess. There was probably one here, and somebody ran it over and destroyed it. Welcome to Summit Hills, guys. Well, I hit it a bit too far right. It should have landed somewhere in here. I would have hoped to see it bounce out, but my worry is that it probably bounced out into the woods. It actually just hung up. Yeah, I guess we'll just kind of punch a 5-iron out again. Hopefully better than the last time we did this. It's actually significantly more difficult than the first shot too, because this time, instead of there being branches in the way of my body, there was branches in the way of the club. So like the shaft of the club was going to hit branches, kind of like they weren't on the ground, but they were like hanging over the ball. But I did, it was a good result, I think. Okay, that could have been a lot worse. Actually took a pretty crazy bounce, but yeah, I thought it might have been really long and hit the wall or something, but we're good. Oh, it still kind of blew up the card. That's an 8 triple without any actual like shots lost or, you know, penalties. Not great. You see why it's my nemesis hole. Very, very downhill par 3, like ridiculously downhill. And the boxes are back here. I haven't played this box much at all. I think one time we did do it. I can't remember if it was on camera or not, but usually that's the box there. On. I don't know what to do about that. I hit it like into the trees on the right. It's honestly probably back on 10, so I guess we're taking a penalty or something. I don't actually found the ball. It was back on 10. I don't know. I don't feel like I struck it poorly. It's just like it's pretty far, and I didn't hit it exactly where I want. I think the wind pushed it, to be honest. But I'm just gonna take like a 1-stroke penalty and drop it up there on the hill, and we'll play the hole like that didn't happen, I guess. I don't know. There's no way I could play it from the other hole. Like there's like a wall of trees between me and that hole. It would not, I'd just end up losing it, like 90% chance to lose it. So that doesn't seem like a good investment of my time right now. That was hit well, and it just like stopped. I thought it was gonna bounce out because of the angle and stuff. Come on, man. So I'm just gonna take a 5 on that. That's what I got. If that was actually what you're supposed to do. I've been told that's not what you're supposed to do. If you hit the ball into woods that aren't defined as a hazard, you have to go back and hit a provisional, and I knew I wasn't gonna hit it any better. So I mean, I see like there are you might be able to tell, like there's stakes around these woods. Can't really see them because it's kind of overgrown. They are there, so I don't know, probably violated some rule, but you know what, forget about the rules. pushing all my irons to the right, and I don't know why. That was the 5 iron. The previous one was the 7 iron, so it's not the new clubs. I've never done this before. Literally the first time I've ever seen an iron slice or fade, I guess. Yet again, got cut in the grass as I try to cut a green that I'm playing on. But hopefully you saw all the shots. I don't know, that kind of just really pisses me off. I told my uncle about that, and he said the same thing happened to him at a course called Edgewood around here, and he went in and like snapped on the guy. I mean, it's just rude. It's insane. I can't hold my tongue on it. Like, come on, man. I'm one of like 5 people here. Just for, you gotta wait. Anyway, my shot barely hung on. That's legitimately where, again, I didn't move it. That's actually where it was. Really wet over here too, so it's gonna be a tough one. Well, I hit it way long. I didn't think I would get it clean, and I did kind of get it clean. It wasn't as clean as it could have been, but I hit like a club up or whatever, down, whatever, yeah, club up, I guess, to make sure that it was in a good place. And actually it's kind of like pin high. I just saw it now. But this is, again, I mean, this is like this because some idiot tried to bring a cart back here and it's way too wet for that. Well, that was the first time I actually chipped with that. I thought it would be further back, and I thought I'd need more like a flop shot type thing. And it actually hit the flag stick, but it didn't, it wasn't going in. It kind of like, it didn't even really hit the flag. It kind of just hit right by the cup here. So that's really the part of my game that I've been missing. 2 bad shots with irons and 1 good chip just saved it. I mean, it could have actually been a birdie. So I'm really satisfied with that. Absolutely crushed. That's the best shot I think I've ever hit, like out of any club. I took the iron out. This iron is insane. I tell you what, man, this and the Sand Wedge are carrying me right now. But I cannot believe how far I just hit that. That is farther than the longest drive I've ever had on this hole, and that was with the hybrid. So that was hit further than I've ever hit it before. But this time I have a great wedge for this. Last time I would have had to use the pitching wedge. I know I told that story about hitting that 60-degree, but I had brought that here and hit that a couple times, and it just went dead up in the air, like didn't advance at all. So I knew I needed a different club. I didn't have the right one. I bought the right one, and it's been treating me very well. But something that did happen there that I'd like maybe people's opinion on if they know anything about. The ball was, again, it was like a really awkward lie. My uncle told me, like, you know, you try to keep your shoulders parallel to the hill or whatever, and I did that, but it caused the ball, like, look at, so this is where the ball is here, and I was aiming, at least I thought I was, over there. Maybe I wasn't, I don't know, but I was really surprised when the ball came out this left. It ended up being perfect. If it was at the flag, it might have went in. And we've turned some of these holes into like holes that I was happy with par to now be like, oh, I should be birdieing them now. If we could do that every time on this hole and actually just figure out why the chip or whatever the pitch went so far left, then I mean that's an easy birdie hole. I took the jacket off, but yeah, so what a great hole that was. Now it's time for the driver again, these next 2 holes at least. Okay, well, this was my actual first one. We're gonna play it. I hit a lot, as you can tell. I'm still having a lot of trouble making good contact with the driver. It's because the ball is like heavier than the club. It's ridiculous. Like when I hit the ball, I feel like the club is stopping. That's how light it is. I don't know if that's a good thing. At least we're in the fairway, much better than being on those stupid hills or something. Okay, well, I messed it up, but here's my other shot. So it was actually not any farther. I thought it might have been better because usually if you can slice it a bit, it might end up on that side of that tree there. But fortunately, I messed up the second shot, I guess. So I clicked the button twice instead of once, so it just automatically shut off. But we'll see. It's down there to the left. I hit it extremely well. It's just kind of too far left, so I do think it's probably going to be really difficult. Well, we're going to find out though. Okay, so there's the ball. This isn't really that bad. It's just, again, if I don't get it on the green, it's going to just continue to bounce down here to the left. Obviously, I should have aimed for up there, but it's well struck. I mean, this isn't that short. That was just hit perfectly. I don't know what it is about this sand wedge, guys, but like, it's like a game changer, man. This was the best purchase I ever made, honestly. If that was the pitching wedge, no chance of getting it on the green. And that was like literally like just dialed in, so perfect. Distance was right too. I honestly, I'm gonna say it, like, I've been wasting so much time not using a proper wedge. I think it was just because all the other wedges just sucked. They're either too short. Like, I have this one wedge that's like 2 inches shorter than a normal club. I don't know why. This club, perfect. It's just perfect. Starting to feel like if I'm like properly playing golf now. It's kind of crazy. I'm gushing over these clubs probably way too much, and people are gonna be like, oh, it's not the club. But yeah, I tell you what, it does feel like I took like the training weights off. You know what I mean? Like, I'm hitting good shots from short distances, which never happened before. And then when you get that confidence going, you know what I mean? The putting all of a sudden looks better too. So it's like, it's just about confidence. I feel like they've given me a new lease on confidence in this sport. Now the thing is, of course, once I get used to this, it's just because I'm like comparing it to the old situation I was in, and this is obviously a better situation to be in. Once I get used to it, my expectations will change, and my, you know, I'll expect more of myself again. But I just can't help but feel like I feel like so much more confident. Not great. It's sliced. Again, I'm still having that problem, but hey, it doesn't matter because it was not like a full-on slice, more like a fade or whatever you call it. So it's definitely further than I normally hit it to, really. I don't know though. I've been over, if I hit it well, like kind of around the corner, I've been over by those. That rough stick didn't quite land it where I wanted to. Pretty short. That was really bad. Like, hit it super fat. I'm gonna tell you, my hands are honestly very sore. I went to the range yesterday to practice with these new clubs. It's starting to hurt, honestly. Like, it's tough to grip the club. But that was another great strike with that sand wedge. Pretty far still, but yeah, I hit it a bit too firm, but it's on the middle of the green. That was really good to save bogey. I'm going to try hitting the hybrid on this hole. Used to be that the old hybrid was right up to the front, so I don't know if that's gonna work. It might go too far now, and if it does, I'll just hit 5-iron and then play the round that way. That's the 5-iron, and then hopefully you can see just at the edge of the fairway where the rough starts there, it is the hybrid. So that's the difference. This one obviously maybe sliced a bit, pushed right again. I think it's the wind, to be honest, at this point, because I've never seen this happen so consistently. That wasn't hit very well. Kind of like jammed off the front there. I'm kind of surprised because I made good contact with it, but the ball just kind of came out really low. Maybe I just de-lofted the club. There's actually a ball. I found another ball over there, and then that one's just sitting there. I'm not picking it up because it's like some practice ball, but it's just kind of great. I don't know if somebody actually hit that legitimately, but how could you not see that when you drive up there? But anyway, so here's mine. So we have fortunately about 100 yards. I was really hoping to hit the sand wedge, but I was hoping that you know, this hole was going to be a lot easier with these clubs, and it could be, but I did not hit that second shot very far. But on the bright side, we did not hit it fat. Oh, look at this. What the hell? Oh my God, dude. What is going on in this golf course? Look at a club. Somebody left the club. There's my ball. Hit extremely well. It's like perfect. Almost pin high. A little bit too far to the right. Somebody left the club. I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't leave it here, but maybe I should. But this is the 18th hole, so if the guy didn't realize he left it, he's probably gone already. So I probably should bring it into the clubhouse. What kind of club is it? Let's take a look here. Oh, it's an approach wedge. a tailor-made approach wedge. So I'm not although I do need one of these, I'm not, that would be extremely rude. Well, that was an insanely good round. Had some great up and downs. Thanks to the new club, honestly. I have to say, like, I owe all of my everything that went well today was because of chipping, honestly. So we'll be adding it up at the house, and we're going to talk a little bit about some things, because there's definitely some things I want to clarify. Use this as sort of a review of the clubs, first impressions kind of thing. As you probably predicted if you watched the golf, that is by far a new record. 87. Never seen an 8. First time I've ever been in the 80s. So there was a couple shots that maybe a couple things happen on the course that maybe aren't like straight, but even if, like basically I'm talking about that second hole on the back nine. I don't really know what I should have did there, or what would have happened, but even if that, even if that should have been a 6 or even a 7 instead of a 5, it's still, I mean, that's still my record easily. So definitely the best round I've ever played, one way or the other. So let's talk about the actual clubs. The driver, I'm gonna say I'm a little disappointed with the purchase. I was sold on like, oh, I'm buying a new driver, I'm gonna hit it like way farther than the old one. It's just not true. It's only like maybe like 5 or 6 more yards than the old one, maybe 10. It depends. I think there's too many variables, but it's good. Definitely, like, it's not worse than my old driver. But the difference between the hybrids, like the 3 hybrid that I had compared to this 3 hybrid, I mean, that's 20 yards longer easily, and it's so much easier to hit. So that is what I kind of would have hoped for with the driver. The difference is that the hybrid is the max version, just like the 5-iron that I talked about is the max version. So maybe I should have got the max driver. I don't know, I didn't, just because they didn't have any. I bought them from Callaway pre-owned again. They didn't have any that I wanted, like it was different lofts. And that's the other thing, this driver is a 10.5 degree where the old one was a 9.5. And my uncle said that I should get a higher lofted driver. And honestly, I do feel like that is part of why the distance isn't better, because the ball flight is so much higher off the face of the driver. And I don't know if it's me hitting it poorly or whatever, but it's really high up in the air. It looks like a wedge shot, honestly. Like, it's crazy how high it goes. But it goes far still, but it just goes really high. Not dissatisfied with the purchase. I'm just saying that if you're out there thinking like, oh, I'm upgrading from a 15-year-old driver, this is going to be a slam dunk, it's not. And I'm going to tell you why it's not. Because it is half the weight. Literally half the weight. It's so much lighter, it's unbelievable. And there's times when I don't even feel like I'm swinging it. Like, I have it in my backswing and I'm like, where's the club? Like, I don't have any feedback in my muscles while I'm swinging it because it's so light. And I think that is part of why, like, I hit the ground a couple times before the ball. Never do that. I think that's part of why, because it's like, it's just so light that like any tweak that I do with my shoulders or my arms while I'm swinging it is gonna like completely change what the club is. But I'm gonna get better at that. I'm gonna keep hitting the driver and getting more practice with it. Still slicing the ball. They say like, oh, you know, it's gonna be less slice. It is less slice, but it hasn't just completely corrected a swing flaw. I even have it on the draw setting, which isn't necessarily like, it used to be like weights or something like that. They're not there anymore. This driver doesn't actually have weights. It's just got like a thing on the actual, I don't even, where it connects to the head. The shaft connects to the head. There's a thing that you could change. I changed that to a draw setting. It didn't change a single thing. I didn't hit a draw a single time today. But for the most part, when even if I hit the drive like somewhat poorly, it did still, like, it was good. Like, it was more forgiving for sure than my old 15-year-old driver. So definitely more forgiving. Not really that much longer. Like I said, maybe like 5, maybe like 10 at the max. But I was kind of really thinking I was going to be gaining like 20. You know, stupid to even say that out loud, but I mean, come on, this is a club that's been in a cellar for 15 years, basically. Surely this brand new club that I got is better. It is used, and it's not in the best condition, but I'm very happy with the purchase. It was only like $325, so it's supposed to be like a $500 driver. So it was a great deal, obviously, even if it was just to try it out, you know, even if I don't end up sticking with it for some reason. But I will say that the other 3 clubs are absolutely spectacular. I'm still not convinced on the 5-iron. Like, I don't know if it's actually better than the 6-iron. I didn't hit it as many times as I would have liked to today. The ones that I hit out of the, like, kind of the fairway of the rough, it was good. They were good. But the couple times I hit it off the tee, it didn't go well at all. Actually, I hit it twice off the tee, and they were 2 of my worst hits all day. So that does kind of concern me. Don't think that has anything to do with the iron, but I was kind of expecting that to be really, like, you know, and what, to be fair, it was good, because even though the first one was on the 7th hole or 8th hole, the par 3, and I hit it like way short, even though it should be like long. I expected to hit it long based on where I was hitting it on, you know, either from the fairway or even at the driving range yesterday. I expected it to be long. It was short, but that's because I hit it like off the toe. And then the second time I hit it off the tee box, it sliced, which again, I honestly, I think it was partially the wind, because I've never, like, I don't know why something slices. Like, I still don't really understand it mechanically. That's like the first time after all these years of golf and all these years of being terrible that I ever sliced an iron before, especially off a tee box. I've hit it like where I think like the club face stays open because of hitting the ground first, and then it kind of splays right. But this was like actually a fade. So I don't know. Anyway, we had our best round ever, so I mean, I can't really complain. 87 is just insane, and it was really a really nice day out there. It was also the first time I played golf with like long clothes on, long pants and sweater, and like, you know, I have like a little, it's kind of like an insulated shirt, kind of like a Under Armour type shirt from a long time ago as well. So I think I played great considering, you know, everything that happened. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep trying to get better with the driver. Now my question is like, should I buy irons? Honestly, the few times I hit the other irons, well, there was some really bad. To be fair, actually, there was, yeah, the 2 par 3s on the back 9 were actually some of my worst holes, period. and they were both with the old clubs. And it just does feel like these new clubs are just way more forgiving, but they go longer. And I think that's partially, I wanted to talk about this. If you're going to buy irons and you're upgrading from a long time ago, something that you should be aware of is that you're probably not going to go from the same loft to the new, the new irons are not going to have the same loft. I read about this a lot. I've seen a lot of like pros and stuff talk about it in various ways. But I think what they're trying to do there is to be like, oh my God, look at how I just hit this iron 15 more yards. But in reality, you just hit a 5 iron instead of a 6 iron. So like, I don't know exactly what the lofts would be. I think it's like 20 something yards, right? Or 20 something degrees. So it would be like the old 6 iron was like, say like, I don't know, like 26, and the new one's like 23 or something like that. And that's something that, carries over through the whole set. And that's the one big difference here with the Max and the regular. 5 iron is like, say it's like 21 degrees. I don't actually know. 21 degrees, and the 6 iron is like 22 degrees. And that's because the one's the Max and one's the regular Mavrik. So like I said, I think I need to get a new 6 iron if I'm going to stick to the Max. Honestly, I might not though. Like it didn't really feel like it was any different. So I don't know. I just gotta hit those more. But really satisfied with the Sand Wedge. Honestly, that's like changed my whole game. Having like a proper wedge with like a nice shaft and not one that's either way too long or way too short or whatever was going on. That is such a big deal. And I hit, obviously, like that's the reason we shot 87, because if it wasn't for all some of those up and downs or whatever, we never would have had anywhere near that. I mean, especially that sand save, like that was not possible with the pitching wedge. So thanks for watching. I don't know when we're going to be back. A lot going on IRL and also with WoW. So we're going to probably try to keep playing golf, but we'll see once Shadowlands and stuff is underway. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.